What's up, friends? Welcome to the 2-6 podcast with Luke and Adrian. On this podcast, we focus on Web3 and achieving your personal potential. Today's episode is the Web3 Project Spotlight, where we go deep into the Mad Skullz Project. We'll take a tour through Skull City with the man himself, project founder, Mad. We'll introduce you to the various Mad Skullz NFTs, talk about how the team's built in partner collaborations, and how you can help secure the network by delegating with the Mad Skullz nodes. As with all of our episodes, none of what you hear today is to be considered financial advice. This is purely for entertainment and educational purposes. With that all said, let's talk Mad Skullz. What's up, friends? Welcome to the 2-6 podcast with Luke and Adrian. So today we are very excited to welcome a special guest. We have Mad, who is from the Mad Skullz Project, joining us today, and really excited to have you on, Mad. So Mad, welcome to the show, man.
Hi, guys. Hi. Super happy to be here. Man? Thanks for having me. And I can't wait to spend this few minutes with you guys and have fun and tell you everything about everything, I guess.
Awesome. We're looking forward to it.
We always like to hear everything about everything, man.
Yeah, and I'm known to spit a lot of alpha, so I hope I don't do too much on Mad Skullz.
Oh yeah, that's our listeners may or may not like alpha, so yeah, that'll be great.
So Matt, just to kind of get us started, we'd of course love to spend some time getting to know you a little bit better. Can you share a little bit about your background and how you kind of got into the space?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, background. I'm a designer, so basically working on graphic, user interface, user experience stuff. So that's my actual education, let's say. I worked as a project manager, used to work in different agencies. Then I launched my own company in Paris, which is called Mad Studio. So the name is right there.
Nice.
Branding. Which is a design and development agency, basically where we work for clients as contractors and do consulting services on digital stuff, basically building them websites, apps, anything digital, basically, but with a special, very special touch on the design part, so the creative direction, and that's what makes us different. So it has started as a really small company, basically, where we were trying to help small companies, startups launch a quick proof of concept. So having small dedicated teams, feature teams or squads, and just build that team for the specific project and give a time frame of less than 3 months to launch that project and see if that works or fails. Some more success with big brands like L'Oréal, Accor, and other brands I won't mention here, but they were keen to have that specific use case or team thingy within their big corporations, because they were stuck with big agencies and they wanted to have their own team. So the baseline of Mad Studio is build your own team. Basically, you come to me and you say, I want an app, a website, and stuff. And you get a quotation with different contractors that I worked with for the past 20 years now, 15 years. And so, yeah, basically, because when you have the teams internally, what happens is that sometimes you are stuck with some talents, and in agencies, for example, like, sorry to give brand names, but if you are Coca-Cola, for example, and you want to work with the designer probably doesn't want to work with Coca-Cola. They don't have the chance to select the project they work with for, I don't know, for like different reasons. But in our case, what we do is that we have a pool of talents within the company, and we basically broadcast the projects that we have to them. So they are the ones saying, okay, I want to work with that client on that. I want to work on that project and stuff, which means that it goes to, the next milestone. There's a way where it's done with more passion, I'd say. So that's how we build those squads and feature teams. And we've seen that the result is pretty good on that end. And that's how the company grew and went to that side of things. And the other part where you might be interested in is how that affects Mad Skullz. But the basically the part of the company which makes money is the one where we work as consultants for those clients. And there's another part, which is my DGen side, I'd say, which is creating startups and sending them rather to a wall or through a wall. So experimenting, basically. So we've done that with different games. So we have Hamster Break, Duck Tap, different games that we've launched on the App Store and Android Store. We've launched software as a service platforms. Basically, any idea that we can have, either myself or the team that I work with, that we want to test in a short amount of time and see if that works or that doesn't work. And so we have different products and services that we've built. And Mad Skullz was one of them. At first, we started as an experiment and wanted to see how we can build something together on the blockchain, and rather than like having the theory and theorize for thousands of years, the best way to learn is to actually do it. So we started to make a plan on that, on doing an NFT collection with a story behind and different ideas that we had, which was the Mad Skullz ecosystem and verse. And so we had the idea of the 6,666 NFTs to launch, but we were noobs. So we said, okay, no, we need to do things at our size. So we should do that with something that we can manage and that we can make sure we can show the community that we are in for the long time and that we are here to build and to experiment with them. So that's how the Baby Skullz came in. But at this time, no one knew us except I'm doxed and they know the studio and that's how they got there. But they aped basically in a project with nothing as a proof, no foundation, just a roadmap and ideas on how to grow. And we sold out the Baby Skullz on Kalau 2 years ago. Like it sold out in 3 hours or so, which was a really great time for an early project, I'd say, with no hype, and we've done everything organic, like no marketing posts on Twitter, like a chilling marketing influencer, no budget for that, and just like posting and talking to the community and growing the Discord, obviously. And so it went fast and big, and that was amazing. The first goal was, and you mentioned that when we were off record, Adrian, but the validator. I wanted earlier, before launching Mad Skullz, to have a validator, but I was poor. So I didn't have the budget. At that time, the AVAX was at $100. So 2,000 AVAX to launch a validator was not.
I remember those days.
Yeah, and so yeah, the goal was to do that, to do a mint with Baby Skullz and to have some treasury to experiment on different stuff and build our vision and see how things work. And so we got that. We used that treasury to get the validator and start experimenting on things, and like keep the momentum also to build the community, because the community is probably the most important part in a project. For the upcoming mint that we have, the main one, which was the Mad Skullz, the Mad Skullz mint. Anyways, that's how we got to Mad Skullz, how we created that, and it's been 2 years that we've been building in the ecosystem. So super happy about that.
No, that's cool, man. So with like, I know you mentioned like Hamster Break. Did you guys have experience too with gaming and creating games, or is that something new that you guys kind of got into?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that's exactly how we went into Web3, I'd say, with no experience of the actual ecosystem itself. So basically building our experience at the same time as you're building. And on the mobile game, that's exactly what happened. We started with Duck Tap, which is a small title that we've done. First, you have to know that the mobile gaming industry is probably one of the toughest market that there is, because you need millions of dollars to get the acquisition you need. We've been talking about acquisition and then the retention has to be really specific, and then like it's really, really complex to do that. There are some companies that are really good at it, but we've done that ourselves with no publishers and nothing. So we've done that just ourselves, going there, foraging and seeing. So we've learned a lot on that industry. For DuckTap, it's basically a 50K burn in euros. So that costs us money and didn't get us that money back, but that gives visibility. You know, that's a proof of concept that we are doing, and the game is still here, still working on, you know, selling the game to other companies and rebranding it because the foundations are here. And then we learned a lot from that. So we wanted to have a game that fits a bit more the mobile industry. And that brings us to Hamster Break, which is taking what we know from our childhood with the Brick Breaker game, Arcanoid, I don't know how we call that, but making it more juicy and having more peps and juiciness in the experience. Like, we have those cute hamsters that you can modify, tweak, and the levels that you can go through. Basically, there's a lore and a history where Daddy Hamster loses his son to aliens, and he's just basically running through the world to find him. And he goes from one mission to another, one level to another, and through different worlds where he breaks he breaks bricks of fruits made by the aliens to free those little hamsters. So, you know, the lore was a bit bigger on that one. The juiciness of the game, the gameplay, obviously, and the way the retention works on this one. So, great success on this one, and super happy about it. That's not making millions in revenues because we are really small and we don't invest much in terms of like the more you invest in a mobile game, the more you get from it. But we wanted to have that ecosystem and that proof of that we are able to do something really great, I'd say.
Yeah.
And that serves us for the Web3 part, I guess, as well.
Yeah, and I'll just add in. So I'm a Hamster Break addict. So I've completed all the levels, both in the easy mode and the hard mode. I'm eagerly waiting stage 5 that was teased in there, but it's just a fun game. Like, it's nice to have just a game that, like, you got, you know, I don't know, 2 minutes to, you know, wait for something to happen, like, and you just get in the game, you pass a level or two, and then you kind of go on and do something else. And then when you got another break, like, let's say you're throwing something in the microwave and you just want to spend a little time doing something fun, it's great. So I'm a big fan of it. So it's a good one for sure.
Yeah, super happy. I'll share that to the team and make sure the world number 5 comes sooner than than we expect. But yeah, we definitely need that. Those kind words to get the juice in, you know. So thanks so much.
Yes, and I've banked a bunch of energy, so I'm ready for it whenever it comes. Let's see, I have 725 energy in my thing there. So when it's there, I won't have to wait any.
But don't tell that to the person handling the revenues thingy, because that's probably a part of why we are broke on different things that we do. But
I got a lot of that watching ads, so hopefully that's helping you with revenue.
I hope. I'll check the data on that, but that's nice to see that. But and to relate on that for Mad Skullz, that was also one of the first idea that we had for that ecosystem. That if we jump back 10 years ago, I started when I was starting on creating websites and apps and stuff like that. I created a small website with mini games. So it was the Web 2 era, and those mini games, you were able to play those mini games basically and get points in there, and those points you were able to exchange them in a shop for PlayStations, Nintendos, and stuff like that. So everything was free. You just get there, you play the games, you get points, and those points were used for that. And so we have built a community on Web 2 for that. And so when Web 3 came, I was super excited because I thought that finally we had a way also to have a token to replace those points and have games that are tied also to link to the blockchain. So that was the initial idea we had with that. So you can imagine like a place where you can play different mini games, like not big games or big titles like AAA, but really small, entertaining games to get points. And those points you can exchange them later on in a shop for different items. And that's how you make an economy in your world. And that's still part of our plan for Mad Skullz. We have an arcade coming up. We currently, so as an alpha, we can have. We currently have 3 games that are ready to get out. You are going to get flesh from there, which is our main currency, which has no liquidity. And then from that's the part where it goes to the DeFi end. That flesh rottens and gets and becomes rotten flesh, and you can then transfer that rotten flesh, exchange that rotten flesh for bones. The bones is not out, but that's the token with liquidity that we are working on. So, which is supposed to be in the gaming industry, like as you've played Hamster Break, you have the coins, which are the things that have no value external except in the game, and the gems that you can buy with actual currency. And so the bones is our gems, and the flesh is our coin. And basically, you have an economy around that with some small play to earn mechanics and that you've experienced with the portals. Yeah, sorry, I'm like sending a lot of information.
No, that's cool, man. I'm a huge advocate and fan of mini games, dude. So because it's fun to get stuck on one game, but it's always fun to like break off and play a bunch of different little mini games. So
the main goal would be to have something that, like some games that are multiplayer, where you are able to play against someone else from the community and get their flesh, or like bet and have a pool, like something which is oriented, more fun oriented and entertaining than cash making, and that's what we have today a lot in the ecosystem. So that's the goal basically of what we want to do with the community there, and hope we'll reach that point soon.
Very cool. So let's talk just a little bit more about the Mad Skullz themselves. So I think it's been a really good setup. And by the way, like what you said about mini games, that was music to Adrian's ears. If you ever are on a space on X with him, that is all he talks about is mini games and how important they are. So you definitely got him excited with that one. But let's talk about the skulls a little bit. So I know you have a few different ones that are out there. So you have kind of the core Mad Skullz. You already talked a little bit about the Baby Skullz. Really excited to hear kind of your thoughts around the Missing Onez. Those are kind of a cool thing with the multi-chain element that they have. And then you have the Hall of Fames as well. Do you want to kind of just maybe talk us through the different, NFTs that are a part of the Mad Skullz ecosystem and kind of like how the different ones are used and that kind of thing?
Yeah, sure. We can do that in the specific order they existed. So, sure. Already we started with the Baby Skullz as the very first mint that we've done. This mint was done on Calao, so we didn't do the contract. We just built the community basically. We've done the artwork. So Riza, amazing artist that you probably all know, has done the little babies. And so our goal there was to make sure those were our OGs. We wanted to give them directly. So part of the revenues that we have done are given back to the Baby Skullz. So we have a Wheel of Fortune every week. So we've been doing that for 2 years, which is rewarding the Baby Skullz. You just have to go there, subscribe with your babies. So it's just a button you click, and it's like going to work and like getting there. And they get AVAX rewards based on the wheel at the end of the week. We got also a lot of free mints that when we have the opportunity to have free mints, whitelist and stuff like that directly goes to the believers, we call them. And what do we have? Obviously the floor price went from 2 AVAX to 20 AVAX, so they had a nice profit, and we made sure also that was our promise. Every mint that we've done, making sure that the value for that floor price in terms of dollar was always higher. We like I'm gonna talk about that later on for Mad Skullz about the treasury management. But we are investing from the Web 2 to the Web 3 and not the other way around. So basically everything we got from the treasury helps building the foundations and building the ecosystem and giving back to growing the community. What we cherish most is the community and what the bond we are building with them. So anyways, the Baby Skullz, and the last but not least, most important thing is that they are part of a DAO. So it's not really a DAO, but we call it the parliament, basically. What happened in Web 2 is that I'm the boss. So as a CEO, I'm the one taking the decisions. And sometimes you just go straight into a vision. And as I told you, with some of the companies I've built, some of them directly go straight to the wall. And yeah, that's part of the thing. But with the Baby Skullz, the luck we have there is that they know how the ecosystem works. So what we can do is like create proposals for them to help us and advise us on which direction we can go through. We are still a corporation, so basically we still are the ones taking the decisions, but it's great to have other insights. And they usually have great insights on where to go and, like counter ideas, I'd say, or challenge stuff and make sure that everything is made properly. And that's something that at first I thought was not going to be amazing, but it actually helped a lot the project on different directions, because I do believe that my ideas are not the best. Sometimes when you have a vision, you have to execute that, but it's better to listen to the noise also outside sometimes and see in that noise some of the great recommendations we have there. And that format of the parliaments is something that was absolutely amazing. So it's just an in-between, like it's not a DAO per se, because there are a lot of issues with DAO and like it's really like bureaucracy. You never move and you never take a decision at the end. So it's an in-between DAO and helping decision making. So yeah, I'd say democracy of some kind in Skullz City. So super happy about that. That's why Baby Skullz, I think, are the most important NFTs that we launched. And also the supply is really low. So there are 500 of them. So really low supply. Right now on Hyperspace, they are trading for volume and rewards. And I think that the floor price right now is at 30 AVAX. So yeah, it's reaching at high speed, and we are super happy about that. And shout out to Hyperspace for the reward program they are doing, which is giving a lot of visibility outside of the ecosystem, not only on AVAX, but also bringing Ethereum and Solana whales. So that's super cool. Then the Baby Skullz is a great part. Then there's the Mad Skullz. Mad Skullz is supposed to be the biggest collection we had. 6,666 Mad Skullz coming from portals into the world. We've worked really hard on those assets. They are really the most complex NFTs we built, even though there's the missing ones with the cross chain, but the Mad Skullz are having that crazy part of attributes. And I don't even know where to start, but let's start we did the mint first. The attributes were also decided by the community. So Riza created different attributes. We had votes also taken care of. And so believers, Baby Skullz holders, were also voting on the ones they like, the ones they don't like. So that was really inclusive and a community process of creating that. And then the attributes themselves have a specific rarity. The idea there is in the long term to have some of the attributes sponsored by brands. So, for example, there's a crown, which looks like a Burger King crown that could be in the long term sponsored by Burger King. And the goal is to create utility to those NFTs based on the attributes that they got. So imagine one of the NFT that you have that has sunglasses. You get that sponsored by Ray-Ban. That makes if you have that NFT in your wallet, you have a 30% discount on our shop on any Ray-Ban attributes. That's what we are building upon that. That's really complex with the Web2 brands, but we've managed to do that with some Web3 brands. So we got a lot of free mints that were like some of the attributes were selected and given free mints for different collections for the past 2 years, airdrops of tokens and different things that were done in that way. Again, we think the community is the most important thing that we have, and brands value the knowledge they have about how to use a wallet first. So that's something that is really complex. If you're launching a project on Web3, finding someone that knows how to operate a wallet is probably something really complex. And what we want to do is to advertise that, to create value out of it. But rather than being like a Facebook or like GAFA, taking the money directly to us, the goal is to be the middleman, but allowing the connection between the brand and their end consumer. So you have the Mad Skullz, you have the attribute, you are directly part of the brand as an ambassador. And that's not really engaging for a brand because they don't have to operate anything. That's just like sponsorship, basically giving a budget for something. So that's really easy to manage. On the Web2 part, again, that doesn't really work out well right now because obviously the NFTs right now don't have a huge hype, I'd say. We just came from 2 years of bear market or something like that. Basically, yeah, we launched, then we directly went through a bear market straight ahead. So that's already a miracle that we are still here. And I'd like to thank the company and the clients we have for making that happen. But yeah, we are here because of and thanks of them. And for the Mad Skullz, that's one of the main part. They have rarities as well, so from great to legendary. So half of the supply are considered great. There's no common or stuff, but because we think even the lowest rarity is great, so we call that great. Then there are rares, epics, and legendaries. Those traits and rarities, are based on the rarity of their traits. So everything was done directly by the algorithm that we've built. And so there are 10% of the supply, 666 of them, which are legendaries, etc., and 3,000 which are greats. Everything is on our doc, obviously. And what we wanted to do with that is to give extra perks to the ones that are legendaries, and rather than the ones that are great. Obviously, when you mint, that's also one of the probably biggest thing we've done during that mint. So we minted on June 6th at 6 p.m. UTC, obviously because we like the 6th number. And the goal of that mint was to do an experience where you go to a crypt and buy a key. So you were buying a key, not a Skullz. And that key has to be revealed. So you were going through a process where you click the key, it turns, and like that was a really immersive experience. And so you were able to see which Skullz you had. Was it a great, a legendary, an epic? And when you saw that, you are also able to see the rarity of the traits, because you can have a great but with legendary traits as well. So that was that kind of loot box that we wanted to find there. We launched like in the middle of the bear market, like not the middle because we are still supposedly in a bear. So, but we launched and we were in the bear market. So we had to find ways also to make sure that we mint a supply of 6,000. And to do so, we created what we call the Hulks, which is a smart contract that we created that were able to buy NFTs like on the long run. So each and every hour, so I don't recall if it was days or hours. It was a long time ago, but I think it was hours. It was buying 10 Skullz itself for its own wallet. And basically it was done automatically. And the goal with that was to make sure we sold out. And then from that, we were listing those Mad Skullz at a higher price on marketplaces. But they were not revealed. They were still keys, because you had to first buy the key, then go and reveal that to know what's in there. So basically at the end of the mint, that experience, we ended up minting, I think, it was something like 5,000 ish by the community, and a bit less than 1,000. I think it was 500 by the Hulks. Probably more, to be honest. I don't recall, but yeah. Anyways, the hulks had some kind of supply. So what we've done is that we put that for sale, but at a much higher price. So rather than the mint price, which was 1 AVAX 0.8, with discounts. So if you bought 10, you had a 10% discount. If you sorry, I'm like really giving you the whole.
Oh yeah, you're good. This is great.
All that, and so the hulks was selling that for 2.8 AVAX or 3.2 or 3.8. too long ago. Anyways, we sold that at a higher price, but we had to build the hype also around that, because who would buy keys that are more expensive than the one we got? And that's part of the reveal process, because as you were minting them and revealing them, there was some kind of FOMO that was hitting, because we had some amazing one-ones done by Riza within those collections that were not revealed. So at the point where we were with the Hulk's keys, something like probably more than 20% of the keys left were legendaries. So that drives also hype, to get them, because you have more chances to get a legendary there, and you have what we call the Forgottens, which are a specific kind of NFTs within our collection, the ones I talked about. In the lore, there was an explosion in Skull City, the city they live in the labs. And so there are different portals that were opened, and radioactive shit coming from there. So they don't look like skulls. They look like each of them have its own story. One looks like smoke, one looks like a melted cheese, and one looks like a beast, like not a beast, but an insect, sorry. And each of them has, depending on where it was in the city, a look and feel that's different. So the insect obviously was working in the lab with insects, and the radioactive elements, particles, hit him and transformed him in that. One of them was sent to the future, and so he came back as an old Skullz. One of them was sent back to the past and is a baby Skullz, part of the whole crew. But yeah, anyways, they all have their own history and lore that we were bringing for them. And so yeah, the mint experience was something really, really amazing. And we wanted to have that again, obviously. So what we've done is, rather than mint the 6,666 of them, we minted only 6,000 of them. And we said that, so it was 2 years ago already as well. We said that the 666 of them were going to be cross-chained at one point. We already were working with Layer 0 at that time, working on cross-chain stuff. So in our mind, we said, okay, let's keep them for later, those ones. We will mint them later, and we will use them as our cross-chain NFTs. They are still part of the Mad Skullz because they share exactly the same attributes. So they are still part of the collection. There are legendaries in them, greats and stuff, part of the exact same collection, but they are a specific collection. They are tied together, but different. Let's say same but different. And so we put that away, and we worked on the 6,000 Skullz. So working obviously on utility and on creating value for that. When I say value, is more on the play to earn mechanics and the gaming mechanics that we wanted to have. At that time, what was important to have is staking, obviously, staking NFTs and having a currency. So we came out with that amazing, I do believe it's an amazing mechanics for the tokens, where we created 2 tokens, basically, the flesh and the rotten flesh. And the goal was to stake your Mad Skullz, get flesh. So you stake them into a portals, you send them to fight against humans. Obviously, there is lore, and I didn't tell you about the lore, but I can tell you about that. And you stop me if I'm rambling. But
oh no, you're great.
You're going right through the outline, man. You're doing great.
I feel like I have so many things to say about those 2 years, but Skullz live in perfect harmony in Skull City, basically. And so they all love each other, and everything is great. But one day a portal opens into that city, and there's something that looks like a Skullz, resembles like a Skullz, that has hair and flesh, and that's actually a human. Sorry. He's just basically starting to kill all skulls that he sees because he's scared of them and because they don't look like him, basically. So you can see where I'm going with that compared to the real life with the actual humans. Anyways, that's the part of the lore. So at the end of that, what happens is a war between skulls and humans is there. And so the portals are the reflect on that. We created a world we call the Earth portals, where you send skulls through that portals to fight against humans. So they go there, they fight against humans, and they come back with flesh. And that's the the idea of the token and why it's called flesh. Obviously, when they get there, the portals has crazy mechanics where the longer you stay there, the more you bring. So some of our community members have stayed there for 200 days, 300. Oh, wow. And so the more they stay there, they have a multiplier. So they can bring 2 times more flesh by staying there. Obviously, if you send legendary skulls, they bring more. So there's like great bring 10 flesh per day, rare 20, epics bring 40, and legendaries 80. So obviously you would want to put the legendaries there. That created that volume also on secondary market for the legendaries, the epics, and obviously everyone wanted to have legendaries to stake. I'll come to the chicken portals after that. But so legendary had a nice floor price there, and people were staking that to get flesh. Once you get them back from the portals, you get flesh. But you had to put the skulls into squads because to send them through a portals, you have to create squads, like I said, for the studio, like feature teams. And those squads are composed with 6 slots of 6 skulls. But to unlock one slot, you need rotten flesh. And that's where the mechanics of the whole token kicks in. So at first, when you arrived in the early days, you send 1 skulls first, so you were able to stake only 1. The first slot was free. You send 1 skulls, you bring it back. The flesh gets into your wallet, and once it's in your wallet, there's a mechanic that we've created that is totally unchained, where it rots at a 1% speed per day. So every day, 1% of the flesh rots. I don't know how to say that, and becomes rotten flesh. And you use the rotten flesh to unlock slots and squads. So you have the mechanics where you create that token to have more squads and more slots, and so you can send more NFTs to fight against humans and etc. So you have that loop, making obviously flesh inflationary by definition. By definition, again, the flesh is deflationary as well because it becomes rotten flesh. Then you burn the rotten flesh within it to have that. So you have that mechanics. And those both tokens don't have liquidity. So that's how you get there. But people want to have use cases as well. So we created other portals where we wanted to be the community of communities, basically allowing other projects to have their own portals, their own rewards on chain, and using that staking mechanics. So the example I will give you, because you are huge chicken fans, is obviously the chicken portal. So we've worked with the chicken team, amazing devs, amazing folks, amazing human beings. We love them a lot. And at that time, chicken and still is the biggest project that we've ever seen on a lot of chains. I think all chains compared in terms of utility and anyways, huge fan of chickens. Huge FOMO on them because I didn't leave the early days of making a lot of eggs, and so some of you guys are like millionaires. But anyways,
I wish.
Yeah,
Right.
Some of you, I said, not you guys.
Yeah,
but
no,
not us, not me. Anyway.
Egg millionaires.
I won't mention, but none of us. Anyways. And so, they've done great stuff, and we wanted to have a community we wanted to approach as well, that they are huge members of the ecosystem, and we wanted to have a way also to get to them. We were a small project at that time. So the idea we had with the chicken folks was to create a chicken portals where you can stake Mad Skullz NFTs, and they were launching their worm token. which was a new token they launched at that time. So we decided to put that worm token into a portals, and we were staking Mad Skullz for that. But in our problems, first, the chicken have 10K in their collection, so 10K NFTs, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, you're right.
Ours has 6,000 that were live minted, and we had a huge surge on legendaries in terms of pricing, and so greats were at a floor price around two AVAX or something like that, 2 or 3 AVAX at that point. So you always have a disparity on that. So we wanted to create something that was a bit new in terms of mechanics. So in the chicken portals, the greats are the new legends. That's what we said in terms of lore. Because obviously you won't send a legendary NFT to worm pick to go worm picking. You send that to fight against the humans. But you take the great ones, the not strong ones, to go worm picking. So if you send greats, they will bring more worm than the legendaries. So it was completely inverted, and that was a new mechanic we wanted to test. Still in the exploration and experimentation part. That was amazing because the floor price of the greats went up. Like when we announced that with the chicken, that was an amazing surge in our whole community. Like the both community merged together. So now you can see that a lot of Mad Skullz are chicken holders. A lot of chicken holders are also Mad Skullz holders. And even on our end, because at that time we thought we were small, but a lot of our community went into chicken, and that's when the spike you've witnessed when the chicken NFTs went to 100 AVAX at that point. That was also one of the announcements and the things we've done. I had a huge FOMO on that. I think I'm pretty sure I bought one at that top, and that's part of the history there. But yeah, we were super happy, and the chicken as well, because that partnership was something great for both projects. Like we were working differently on different roadmaps, but we were building together and helping each other out. So that was really an amazing partnership that we've done. We are still like every day. So we are right now at our third chicken portals. We have items within it. I won't go through all the details of them, but you can get the tokens, but you can also have chicken items when you claim. And that's something that's really cool, because that means that our portals, which are custodial, can get ERC 20, but also ERC 1155 based on different aspects. The chicken helped us with that on proof testing a concept, which is the community of communities. What I told you about Mad Skullz being a bridge for different communities to come and take part in that same ecosystem. For the chicken portals, we were using Mad Skullz NFTs, so that hyped the price, obviously, of Mad Skullz. The floor price went up, but we created a new offer that we are selling to different clients and prospects and leads, where we create their own portals. So we've done that with Salvor, for example. They have their own NFTs, and the goal is also to create specific mechanics. So in that portals, you have the way to send duos of Mad Skullz and mini Salvors. They are small boats, basically. So you put one Mad Skullz into that boat and you send them over the portals to go find art token in their world. So you send duos there. The more duos you send in your squad, you can have up to 3, obviously with a squad of 6, the more the multiplier is. So we have all the time those kind of mechanics. And we've done that with Kalao and the Ogres portals. We've done that with BlockPay, which is a super interesting project right now, who have a BlockPay card. We are also thinking of, like, they will have a subnet, probably. They are talking about that. So as part of our vision in being subnet validators, we might or might not be validating their subnet. Can't tell much on that. But yeah, basically what we are doing is like creating more and more portals. And that drives also a bit more interest in unlocking the squads, I told you earlier on. So people will want to have different squads to send them to the different portals and empty those pools of tokens and stuff. That's the play to earn mechanics, which is also allowing us to educate, let's say, the community on those new projects. As I told you, the difficult part is to make your project understood and to be able to share how it works and then not just the narrative of it, but the way it works on chain and why is it a good project compared to X, Y, and Z. And so for BlockPay, that's what happened. Like that, we sent basically information to the community to understand what they were doing. That was nice. Obviously, always stating that's not a financial advice, but still giving the info on how things work, like on the technical aspects of things. And we believe the future for Mad Skullz would be that for Skull City, I'd say the learning step, basically having some part of like on top of the P2E, which is really fun but a bit complex to get in, navigate in, and it takes time because that's like farming. Like you go bigger and bigger, but you start first with a smaller squad and stuff. Basically having a way where we can do quiz, like you go there, you learn about something, you have a quiz at the end, and you get rewarded with your answers of the quiz. That's something that we can have sponsored by different projects, DeFi, GameFi, NeFi,
right.
within the ecosystem. And that's something that has a lot of value. For example, you can see that in the mobile gaming industry, acquiring one user, you would pay around €3. So let's say $3 USD to acquire one user within your platform. That's a free user, not paying nothing, no supposed knowledge, because that's mobile. Depending on the industry you are in, you will pay less or more. For poker, for example, I think the price point is at 120 or probably more. That's why, like you have a referral program where you can invite a friend and get $100 from that. I don't know the exact price, but I give you the idea. I do believe the value for one single individual in the ecosystem, the Web3 ecosystem, could be priced around $1,000. That means that if someone wants to reach out to 10 person, like you're launching a Web3 thing and want to reach out to 10 person that know how to operate a Web3 wallet and stuff, and make sure that gets to them and they are acquired, the lead can cost you up to that. That's a price that I didn't proof test or something like that. That's just part of the vision. But I do believe the knowledge and the experience of operating a wallet is worth that. So right now, in my mind, that's how I'm building things, trying to create more value for the community for what they are worth. And to me, they are worth at least that in terms of acquisition. So that's why we are never compromising on, like, we're not doing like, hey, here's a whitelist, a free whitelist and stuff like that. Because part of the vision, we if there's a huge opportunity for our community to get profits, or if that's an opportunity, obviously we will do that. But otherwise, we're not in the chilling part of saying, yeah, let's do that for an exchange of posts or something like that. That's not part of the vision. Anyways, maybe I can let you ask questions. I'm like just rambling. On the NFTs, man, the question, that's ADHD right there, man. I went from to, yeah.
No, but you did a great overview. So I think a lot of pieces to the ecosystem with the NFTs in particular, a lot of cool utility. I think one of the neat things that you touched on there was, adding value to some of the ones like the great Mad Skullz, to kind of have the reverse utility of the others, where the greats are better than the legendaries and the epics. I think was pretty cool. And we'll talk a little bit more about the partnerships in a bit, because I think that's a really interesting element of it. I'll just share on that though. That's how I got into Mad Skullz. So my farm in chicken started to produce X flesh, and I wanted to be able to do something with my X flesh. So that led me to getting my Mad Skull, and then I started to get immersed into y'all's ecosystem there. So it definitely worked on that side, and like you were saying, other folks from Mad Skullz came over, and I think that's what we want. We want to be able to help to bring communities together, creating a broader Web3 community as well. So I think that's
cross-pollinate. I really like that.
Cross-pollination. Yeah, that's his big term, with tasting some honey.
Yeah.
Right. Awesome. So I think we wanted to talk a little bit more about the tokenomics. I know you touched on some of the like the flesh and the rotten flesh, but I know Adrian, you had some questions in particular about the like the nodes and validating and that kind of thing, and maybe some of the other coins.
Before we talk about the validator, is there a good reason why I should freeze some of my R flesh or my flesh, F flesh?
So yeah, that's a good question. So part of the process of the flesh, I told you it becomes rotten flesh. But we created a place called the butchers where you can take your flesh and freeze them so they never rot. And the goal there was to create incentives as well for people to keep flesh, not making it rot. So not going to bones at the end, which is the exit liquidity, let's say, but give incentives on the flesh. What we've done is that you can use that for the builds. Another feature, that's where I understand that's overwhelming because there's a lot in the ecosystem. And the builds is basically helping us assess what we build next. You are able to burn flesh into a build. For example, I can give you one example, which was the chicken portals. The chicken portals is a good example. Before we release that into mainnet and into production, the community has to gather together and burn flesh within the portals. And once it reaches a certain amount of burnt flesh, then we will deliver that into production. The goal is to burn that flesh, but the community is rewarded for that because when they burn flesh into that build, they get an instant R flesh from that. So the example is that you burn 1,000 flesh into the builds, you will get 10% of it, so 100 in R flesh directly into your wallet. That avoids having you wait for the 1% rot, basically. And but you will sacrifice 90% of your flesh for doing that, So that means burning a lot of them is burnt, and the rest is an incentive for you to have more rotten flesh. But on top of that, the top burners in a build have incentives. For the chicken builds, what we've done, I don't recall correctly, but the top burners were having relics, which are items within our ecosystem that you can equip to Skullz for making them more profitable in portals and more efficient and stuff. I won't go through the detail because that's another logic there, but that's an important one where you make them stronger. Basically, you equip them with assets, with stuff that make them stronger.
Because there's a whole section. I'm sorry, there was a whole section where you guys kind of unlocked a lot of the portals with the builds, with people. It's basically community members burning flesh gave you access to, say, the chicken portal or the south builds. And it's kind of the cool thing too, where you start seeing, and I was messing around with it a while back with the arcades. And it seems to be kind of the popular one in terms of where that's where people want to go, is they want to see this arcades game or the scratches game. But no, it's it's pretty cool, man. And I know we've talked also about the validator. Tell us how the validator section works.
Yeah, so that's something that we really wanted to do from the first day we arrived into AVAX. We came into Avalanche for nodes, the validators, but that's we came to AVAX for the tech, basically. We didn't look at the volume metrics of the NFTs, but just went there for the bigger picture on where it was going 10 years from now, at the time where we were there. We had the choice with Ethereum, with other chains, and we were just like talking around. So I've met one of the BD from Avalanche. We had a great relationship together on like the exchanges on crypto, and like we had a great talk together, I'd say. So we were on the same line, I'd say. And so I like that because I saw Avalanche being super responsive where other blockchains were not. So obviously I have a lot of things to say about Avalanche, but because I'm in, and because I'm French, and because I love to complain, and because I want to go on a riot in 2 hours, but they are doing something that no other blockchain does. is being there to discuss. So there's always a line that's open. There's always a way to reach out to them and say stuff. Even the decision, like I believe the decision making is not on point on certain stuff, but they are there. There's no one in Ethereum that is here if you need help. There are some on Polygon, but once you are there, there's no one. There's no one there anymore. I mean, there's a lot of stuff to say on that, and that's something that I really really love, because there are people to take responsibility for the mistakes or the successes that are done on that chain. And on top of that, the tech is really, really amazing. That's like, that's part of the two techs I love most. So AVAX, obviously, and Cosmos, the Cosmos SDK and the way they build that. So not going on the tech aspects of things, but I do love how they operate and how they are built, and the consensus anyways. So yeah, we went on AVAX for that. And I wanted at first to have a validator node, because I wanted to validate the transaction and be part of the ecosystem for real. And so when we got the chance to do that, that's exactly what we did. We opened our validator nodes directly. We went from being simple delegators to operating a validator node. And the goal was obviously to create profits from that, and to reinvest those profits into the Wheel of Fortune I told you about for the Baby Skullz, which are like given rewards each and every week, learn at the same time, and allow security of the network. We created different incentives. I told you about the Hulks having keys that were for sale. We created an incentive where people were able to delegate AVAX to that specific node, and when they delegated their AVAX, they were given back a keys worth 3 AVAX. So basically, more than just the delegation rewards them itself. And the goal is that basically we were losing obviously cash or revenues on that, but people were understanding how to delegate, how to be part of the community, and learning new stuff that they were not doing before. Now there are more of them that are bigger delegators. Some of them have opened their own node, validator node. So that makes us really excited about that, about being a community where people share insights, share knowledge, and make the whole ecosystem grow one step at a time. So that's the first thing on validator nodes, validating the C chain. Then there's the subnet area, which is probably the one you'll see most, and which is the most complex as well, for the muggles that we are, because subnets are super cool. If you hear speaks from me 2 years ago, I wanted to build a subnet, but we've seen a lot of projects like us build a subnet and fail, because that was probably too early also. And when you are on your own subnet, you are alone. Like you don't have the acquisition level of the whole AVAX C chain ecosystem. You are not part of the C chain anymore. You're just part of your own world. So rather you have your own community, or you're a bit doomed there. Acquiring people is really complex on that. We've seen that for some of them, like Krabada or yeah, I don't remember. DeFi Kingdoms, I think they are still in. Yeah. But yeah, that's a really complex and risky thing. So we decided to postpone that because we didn't have just the strength to carry ourselves into a subnet. The technology we could handle, but the marketing aspects of that is really complex when you don't have thousands and millions of dollars to do that. So we decided to stay on the C chain, but we are really interested in subnets. So the way to operate that is to stack some AVAX and to run validator nodes for the subnets. Basically, when you validate, when you are a validator for a subnet, you get part of it in AVAX, and part of the reward is in the token of that subnet. So that's something that we are working on with some friends at Ash Center, they are called. So it's French folks who are building ways to create subnets in an easy way, and so yeah, basically we want to be validators on subnets and be exposed to that. That's part of it, I'd say. Not sure I missed something. And yeah, part of the revenues from that are like re-injected back into the community. Our goal is to be sustainable at the end. Right now, we are just injecting from Web 2 or from the mints that we had. But we want to have an actual process where we are revenue making. We are starting to be profitable on portals, for example, because portals, as I told you, are super hyped. And so companies who need traction and visibility come to us. We have a price point right now that has been set and moved a bit up and up and up with more traction that we had, where the company come, pay us to create that. So we have revenues for the company, and they also provide the liquidity for the token that we put in the portals. So we are trying to have at least a reward in the order of the 10K USD per portals. I can announce one that is in progress, have been dealed on and sealed, but is not live yet, which is Love Monster, which is a partner as well of the chicken. The CEO of Love Monster, Liam, has signed the deal, and we were paid on that. So we are just waiting for their token, the Love Monster token, to get out, so we can have a portals in Skull City for them. And so that's something where we proved that we are able to create a model where it's not the community that we are taking money from, and that's one of the important part where we want it to be. We consider being sustainable, where you don't have to do mints like every time, because it's easy to do a mint. It's like you do a mint, you have the hype, you get the cash, and then you do the next mint and the next mint, and that's nice. People can flip, and I have nothing. That's a post I made. I have nothing against doing mints, but sometimes you have two type of projects. There's the one which works on hype and then dies slowly, and there are the ones like Mad Skullz that do things, and then after you get to get accountable and manage things that you've built. It's not easy. It's really complex. It's really hard. We are not sure where we are going, but we are going to be there until the end, and we are going to make sure we manage that in a way where we try to grow the community. So that's hard to keep the hype. That's hard to like keep an entertaining ecosystem. I know Chicken has have the same issue, but I do feel we are doing not bad for the big bear market that we have. We are lucky to have communities like you guys who are still supporting and trying to help find solutions. But yeah, that's really complex to manage a project and to build hype without minting. Hopefully we got the little surprises with the Missing Onez, as I told you, which was a way also to show that we were really disruptive in terms of tech. We didn't discuss about that, but getting back to the Missing Onez, which is the collection of 666 NFTs that were prevented from minting with the Mad Skullz. We've always wanted to do a cross-chain mint, and so Chainlink reached out. We were at that time working on the Missing Onez with Layer 0, and they had the CCIP tech that allows cross-chain interoperability. So basically moving NFTs, in our case, from one chain to another. You can do that with ERC20s as well. But what was really disruptive is the fact that, and that's where we are the first project to have built that ever, a project where you can mint NFTs, the Missing Onez, on Ethereum or on Polygon. So we short-listed 3 of the blockchains, 2 of the blockchain, Ethereum and Polygon, but you could mint there from AVAX directly. So you were able to go there and mint with your AVAX on the C chain an NFT that were minted on Polygon. And that was something that was not done before, and that was done with CCIP stake. So we're really proud of that. We were able to be, we had a shout out during the Chainlink conference, SmartCon in Barcelona, and we had a really great moment there and met great folks there as well. that was great working with Chainlink. The tech was really early, so we had a lot of things to deal with, but they were really reactive, responsive to handle stuff. I'm lucky to have amazing engineers in the team as well, Moz and Val and Necker, who were like they were doing an amazing job at solving Chainlink's problems for Chainlink. So basically
Nice.
stuff that are really, really crazy. And
Yeah.
we've got some help also on the marketing aspect from Chainlink. Part of that, so right now what we have is a specific website where the missing ones are Mad Skullz basically, with the same attributes. But on top of each attribute, they have something, because we couldn't just mint a collection that was exactly the same as the previous one with no value and except the cross-chain interoperability. We added something that is called skins that we wanted to have from really long time, which is on top of your NFTs, they are able to carry a skin, which is like an ERC 1155 if you want to see it like that. So if you have a cap, for example, like the cap you have, you can have an AVAX cap, an Ethereum cap, or a Polygon cap, but it will still be the same attribute. So there's the attribute, which is the cap, and there's the skin of it, the look and feel, which is AVAX, Ethereum, or Polygon. And this is something that will be attached to an NFT. So you can craft that to an NFT or uncraft it, basically moving the look and feel without affecting the metadata of that. So it's done directly on Skull City. And what we wanted to do with the missing ones is that you can mint some of them directly with some of the skins. So you will have the NFT itself, but some of the skins were included with the NFT, which means that it has more value per definition because it has the skins. Next up, and that's not built yet, on Skull City in Avalanche, you are going to be able to bring the missing ones. And those missing ones, you are going to be able to uncraft the skins from them and craft them to other missing ones or to other Mad Skullz. And that's the crazy thing, because you can use the skin from one missing ones that you got for free and equip that directly to another Mad Skullz that has the same attribute. So if you have another Mad Skullz with this attribute, you can equip that by using Flash tokens, obviously. On top of that, that's not it. The missing ones is something that was costly to do and for the community to mint. The price of it was around 80 USD when we minted. And so what we wanted to do is to have some degen approach we didn't have earlier on, which was able to bring new community members. We know the community members love big rewards. And so to do so, what we've done is that we created a specific portals in Skull City where you can stake only missing ones, and they can bring AVAX, but like huge AVAX rewards. If you stake a full squad of legendary, that was $23 of AVAX per day that you can get from.
Wow.
We created a supplier pool with that, and just allowed everyone to stake and get from the pool. Right now, the pool is ended and has been emptied. It lasted for a month, a bit less than a month, and it will go back to the builds feature that you know. So for everyone to put some flesh in there, so we can relaunch a new incentive for the missing one. So now you got the whole process on all that. Hope I
cool.
didn't
So
brains, guys.
So I wanted to jump a little bit into the CCIP part of it, because I think that one's really interesting. So when the mint happened, one of the things that was cool is that you could mint on, one of the three chains, so AVAX, Polygon, or Ethereum. The other element of it is they can move across chain as well, right? So that just because they were born on Polygon, for example, doesn't mean that's where they have to stay or that kind of thing. Are there attributes that stay with them that show which chain they were born on, or is there any reason that you might want one that was originally on Ethereum versus one of the other two chains, et cetera? Or is it, can you talk a little bit about kind of how that all works?
Of course. So why we've chosen Ethereum and Polygon. You couldn't mint on AVAX, basically. Our goal with that was to find a way where we can get hype from other blockchains and get them incentives to come to AVAX. So they can mint on Polygon, they can mint on Ethereum. Some of them were like, we had support from the top communities on Polygon, and a few ones as well, top communities on Ethereum. But there's a Dead Fellas suit. There are like some items that we've done specifically to represent those communities. And the goal was to have a place where they feel home on their own chain. And if they wanted to, they can bridge that to AVAX and experience the whole Skullz City ecosystem. That's still a utility-based project, which is a bit overwhelming, but there's also the hype attached to that during the mint and with the CCIP integration and stuff. And on top of that, we know that Skullz City is going to stay on Avalanche forever. We've built our 30 plus smart contracts that are living right now on the chain. We are not planning to move elsewhere, but we are trying to find ways to, as Sharebox says, cross-pollinate with other communities on other chains. Basically having utility there as well. And the example I can give, so on Ethereum at that time, the only way to have a Twitter profile picture was to, with the rounded things, the hexagonal things, was to be on Ethereum. So that was a great part of it. We had a lot of friends and whale friends on Ethereum, and to be trusted as an NFT project, you have to be on Ethereum. So we wanted to open that first route there. Riza is an amazing artist that has done work for Moonbirds, Cool Cats, Dead Fellas. So those are on Ethereum, and he's well known on the Ethereum ecosystem. So we wanted to have a place there where we showed, we were able to show that we were with them, So that was the first thing. We wanted to have cross utility also for them into other worlds on Ethereum, but don't have now planned. And on Polygon, exactly the same. That's a cheap chain, and that's known for that. And we have our friends Chicken who are launching there, and we have a lot of projects that are there. And what we wanted to do is, you might have heard of foraging in the Chicken ecosystem, and some NFTs are able to do exactly the same job as Chicken at foraging, but with less rewards. And we plan with the Chicken to be the first one to do that and to be the missing one. So this collection is especially done for that kind of things, that kind of experiments where we are able to do that on Polygon, but also on AVAX. And basically, it's a way also to say that our brand, Mad Skullz, is not just tied to Avalanche, but it's above chains. It can live anywhere and where we want. So if a brand has something to do on Ethereum or Polygon or something, we have a way to assess that and to be there to represent.
And before we close out, are you guys have any integrations with CoqInu? Everybody
Yes.
likes to talk about it. Everybody likes to talk about it.
I'm pretty sure that brought so much to the chain. Like CoqInu really saved the end of the year, and they've done a great job. Like the fun fact is that what Gribbly said is that we've hosted a party in the summit, during the summit, Avalanche Summit in Barcelona with the Chicken. Yeah. So co-hosted the party with them, and during that party, Gribbly told me that's where the idea of CoqInu went, and they discussed that with Wojak, who was there as well. So that makes me proud as well to say that we were also like, it's exactly what I told you about Mad Skullz and Skullz City and being like an enabler in some way, even when you don't know about it. So really happy about that. And anyways, yeah, we are a huge fan of CoqInu, and we've integrated. We have a shop, so you can purchase merch on shop.skullz.city. You have discounts done for CoqInu holders. So if you hold Coq, you are able to have a discount on the merch that we've done. Artwork by Riza, obviously. So that was the first initiative that we've done. We were the very first project to launch a shop for Coq, so very first merch. Then I know John Ray has a different approach to that, but there's enough place for the competition. And as part of it, like the shop is a place where you can buy merch from our project, but also from other projects, but made by our artist Riza. And the goal is to have that, tribute to other projects. And then I cannot not mention portals. So right now I'm trying to get a way to build a portals where you are able to stake either Mad Skullz or other NFTs, because I know there are some Coq NFTs that were airdrop. But yeah, basically stake them and get Coq from them. As it's a community project, I'm not sure. Like, we have to find the where to get that Coq.
That's right, man.
We are missing on some Coq, so yeah, let's say that have to negotiate with Gribbly and Wojak on that, and and yeah, after that we just have to do it. We are doing also the same with Kimbo. We are helping them, like part of the how we function right now is, and why we are still here today after a huge bear market, is because of the thanks to the clients that we have. And Kimbo, for example, is trusting us with their NFT collection that is coming in a few weeks, I'd say, which is already an alpha. I'm not sure it's communicated yet, but on a well-known marketplace. But yeah, great artwork, obviously, but that's thanks to them that we are able to re-inject that, into the project and the ecosystem. So I hope to have a Coq and Kimbo portals there sometime
Kimbo
soon.
Coq. That's right,
Kimbo
man.
Coq.
Everybody likes those meme coins. Everybody likes the meme coins. They like to see that utility with it, right?
Yeah.
So for any of our listeners that want to get into Mad Skullz, where do you feel like they should start?
Great questions. First, join the Discord. Follow us on Twitter. Join the Discord because so buy the NFTs, obviously, on Hyperspace with 0.5% royalties, or on JPEGs if you want to support us with the 5% royalties that we have. Then there's a place which is called skulls.city, where everything happens and where you can get a hold and at staking and working on that. But I definitely recommend the Discord because the community is here 24/7 and helping onboarding, so if you have questions, and that's easier to onboard. If you like reading, I've written an amazing documentation on docs.madskulls with a z.io. And you have the whole story, everything I've just said on the lore and how to stake, how everything works, the bones to flesh, to like everything. Basically, we have that, how portals work, the rewards within them. And that's our source of truth for that. And otherwise, yeah, experiment. And once you get the NFTs, I guess you can either work on speculating on them as what's happening on Hyperspace. So I'd recommend the Baby Skullz right now because they are reaching a new even right now, like a new floor price each and every second. So that's super cool for farming points. Talk to your fellow friends. Ask Adrian how he's taking, or just ask other folks. And
Absolutely, man. That's why I got a lot of plaid shirts on my Mad Skullz. Getting that worm multiplier is always important. But where can they find you on socials, on X, on /Twitter?
Yeah, you can follow me as well. So I know you're Mad Skullz _NFT for the project. Myself is Crypto Mad, MAD Crypto Mad 89, and I mostly shitpost, mostly shitpost, I think. Expect a French folk, so either complain or no, it's all love, but sometimes I do complain. But that's
good, man.
I recommend following the project itself, which is a bit more professional, has guidelines, PR, and I don't have PR to manage myself, so.
I know it's always dangerous. I got to do it myself as well. But Mad, I want to thank you, man. I thank you for taking the time tonight, man, to give us this little conversation. I think it was super informative for definitely for me, for Luke, but and also for our listeners.
Thanks so much for having me. I know that's an amazing work you're doing there, and thanks for the opportunity.